because you guys overrate everything. You guys hate on me because I'm pretty and shit. Man, that's fucked up.
You know, he was coming at my physique, but it's all good. You know, they were saying the same thing last time, and they got their ass whooped last time, too.
That motherfucker
ass whooped again. And you better
that motherfucker don't even sound the same.
I know Jose got that left hook, too. Jose got that left hook, too.
He don't even sound the same.
So if I look like but you got knocked out looking for Easter eggs with Isaac Cruz, talking about Happy Resurrection Day, bro. You didn't even know where you were at, bro, after the fight.
Trader, right?
Oh, no, yeah. You already the program. The Trader. Joe Goosey. There you go. There you go for you. NGQ. Doing what I do. All white. Looking nice. Okay. Come through.
I don't know if Ryan Garcia is taking the fight serious or not.
Welcome in and welcome back to the Coliseum and to Hybrid Studios. My name is Logan Hyder. I appreciate you for being here. As always, you could be anywhere else in the content world watching anything else, and so we always want to start the video by expressing our gratitude here at Hybrid Studios, which is me, for watching. Today we have on the Coliseum, in the Coliseum, the actual inspiration in some ways, one of the inspirations, combat sports being, for the name of this show, which is similar to that of the olden days when people would gather around and just watch motherfuckers scrap in a giant Coliseum. We have our second boxing-focused, boxing-specific, combat sports-related episodes of the Coliseum today, and I could not be more excited to bring it to you because we have basically every big name in boxing that exists, and some of the biggest names, if not like basically other than Canelo Alvarez. We're going to talk about the biggest names in boxing today. Floyd Mayweather is back and is fighting not once, not twice, but 3 times this year. It's already March too. So yeah, 3 times is Floyd Mayweather scheduled to box. One being an actual professional bout against, I can't even get this out. One being an actual professional bout against Manny Pacquiao. A rematch of that fight that happened a decade ago was announced the other day. So we're going to cover that. Eddie Hearn and Dana White either are in love with each other or really can't stand each other. And we're going to talk about that. Conor Benn getting a $15 million payday from Dana White's Zuffa Boxing, while the UFC is embroiled constantly and has been for years and years and years in fighter pay issues. And so that's going over, not great with his employees in the UFC. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit as well. But a lot of what we're going to focus on today is Floyd Mayweather being back, as I mentioned, Ryan Garcia, and the reality that we live in now that Ryan Garcia is a world champion, what that means, how that fight went down, where he goes from here. And I also want to touch on Oleksander Usyk and his next fight because it's kind of a weird one as well. So we have a ton of stuff as usual to get to in the Coliseum today, but today being a boxing centric episode of the Coliseum, we are going to start in a pretty interesting place where ESPN ranked every single sport from top to bottom based on degree of difficulty. So every single sport being 60 sports total. So 1 through 60 based on endurance, strength, power, speed, agility, flexibility, nerve, durability, hand-eye coordination, and analytic aptitude. The strength and power, those are kind of similar, but the ability to produce force is what they describe as strength. The ability to produce strength in the shortest possible time is power. So I suppose that would be your fast twitch. That probably should say like explosiveness. And then you got speed, the ability to move quickly. I'll just read through them real quick. The ability to continue to perform a skill or action for long periods of time is endurance. The ability to produce force is strength. The ability to produce strength in the shortest possible time is power. The ability to move quickly would be speed. Agility is the ability to change direction quickly. Flexibility is the ability to stretch the joints across a long range of motion. Nerve is the ability to overcome fear. That's interesting that they put that one on there. Definitely makes sense, but interesting. Durability, the ability to withstand physical punishment over a long period of time. Example, NBA and NHL players. I think the word punishment is tricky there, but anyway, hand-eye coordination, the ability to react quickly to sensory perception, and then that analytic aptitude, aside from being a tongue twister, is the ability to evaluate and react appropriately to strategic examples. I took a little bit of a peek at this before, and a few things that I want to bring some attention to is, we'll just read off some of the top ones. You got number 1, boxing. When combining all of this, the total score, I'm not sure if this was out of 10. I would imagine that it's not, because I don't think anything is scored over 9. in any category for any sport. So I'm not really sure what it goes to, but boxing has the highest score at a 72.3 total score, I guess. Ice hockey is second with a 71. Those are the only two that broke 70 as far as a total score. Then you have American football. Soccer's down there. So you have, oh my Lord. You have American football because you got soccer down there. So American football, basketball, wrestling, martial arts, tennis, gymnastics, baseball/softball, which I guess we're okay with putting those together. And then soccer rounds out your top 10. I think it's interesting that martial arts is all the way down at 6. I think probably the martial artists out there, generally speaking, as far as mixed martial arts, which I would assume is what, that's a little bit confusing to me because you got wrestling above that. That's a martial art. Boxing itself is a martial art. So, Taekwondo is not the same thing as Muay Thai. It's not the same thing as karate. So I would assume that this is talking about mixed martial arts, right? But that could do with a little bit of clarification. I would say that the martial artists, the mixed martial artists, God bless, see, they're confusing me now. I would say that the mixed martial artists in the audience probably would argue that as far as difficulty goes, they have all of the same base level difficulties with having to master more disciplines. So for them to be ranked all the way down at 6 when boxing is at 72 points, they're at 63. Boxing is first, they're at 6th. And in between, like even wrestling being above them is interesting, I would think. But let me know what you guys think. If you're watching this and you have participated in any or multiple, I guess multiple would be pretty interesting. If you participated in multiple of these sports, I would love to know what your opinion is on this. But those are some of the highest ones. Down there at the bottom, by the way, in case you're curious, we have fishing, billiards, shooting, bowling, curling, archery. I think archery is a crime that's all the way down there personally. And I also think it's weird that you got golf at number 51, which I get that there's not a lot of physical difficulty to it, but that's kind of interesting, especially considering that like table tennis is number 47. Weightlifting is number 44. I didn't see that before. Okay. Auto racing. Oh, this one might make some people mad. I don't even know why that's on here, to be totally honest with you. I know that it's difficult. I know. It's like the WWE thing with fucking Logan Paul and Tom Brady. It's just because I can't do it doesn't mean that it's a true competition. And obviously WWE and auto racing are the same thing, but I'm not sure that I would compare a driver to a skier or a diver or a boxer or anything like that, or a football player, those kind of things. I'm not sure that it's the same thing, in my opinion. It's not. I'm just gonna say that. The other thing I will say though is that weightlifting being on there is pretty strange to me. Powerlifting is a sport. I'm not sure if weightlifting is how that would be classified. I guess that means powerlifting, but that's kind of like a basis for most of these, so I'm not really sure why that's all the way up here. But anyways, kind of a confusing list. The more that you look at it, it's really difficult to compare these things. A lot of them are apples to oranges, but I do appreciate the effort, and overall not really a surprising result that boxing is at the top. As high as you can get on endurance, almost as high as you can get, right up there with American football for power and strength. They actually swapped their strength and power ratings. 8.13, 8.13, 8.63, 8.6. Interesting. Speed, agility, just as it compares to the exact same amount of flexibility. Football and boxing do not contain the same amount of flexibility, I'm sorry to tell you. Okay, not sure how I feel about that. Nerve, 8.8 to 7.25. Okay, yeah, no, we can do with that one. Hand-eye coordination, football 5.5. Again, the problem with that, like in football specifically, is that a lineman doesn't really need a lot of hand-eye coordination, but a receiver, for example, or a DB is using that a lot, a quarterback, that kind of thing. Analytic aptitude, I do want to say 5.63. Very, very low. And boxing finished the highest anyways, but 5.63 for analytic aptitude, the ability to evaluate and react appropriately to strategic situations. That seems strangely low, doesn't it? Or no? Is that based on the idea that you just go in there and you're just swinging and brawling? Because I don't know if that's... soccer is 7.5 comparatively. Analytic aptitude, really? Okay. What's another really high one? Field hockey. Volleyball has a higher analytic aptitude rating than boxing. That's a rough list, ESPN. I somehow agree with your overall final conclusion. I'm not really sure how. because a lot of those subcategories make no sense now that I'm saying that. I did not mean for that to take that long. Let's jump over to some boxing, shall we? Specifically, I have this pulled up. This has nothing to do with anything. I just want to show you Vasiliy Lomachenko's footwork. Lomachenko, for those who don't know, switch hitter, can go left, can go right, can go orthodox, can go southpaw. And his dad actually pulled him out of boxing at an early age and had him practice dancing in the Ukraine.
His footwork was because his father, who's his trainer, told him to take 2 years off of boxing and just concentrate on Ukrainian traditional dance. Did you know this? Yeah.
And there's a very specific, I believe, type of dance that he had him do, but he completely pulled him out of boxing. And you can tell by the way that he boxes.
And through dance, he developed this ability to move his feet in a way that, footwork is everything. It's a giant, punching someone in the face is everything, but footwork is next to that. It's so important because it puts you in position.
So, you got Lomachenko literally just pulling him into the corner. The defense on him is awesome. He doesn't have a whole lot of power in his hands, but he actually was robbed whenever he fought Devin Haney. Bad. And I maintain that forever and will forever. He beat Devin Haney in one of his last fights, if not his last fight, but definitely at the time I posted that it was going to be his last chance to get into a championship position, that Devin Haney fight. And it was ultimately, and it's bullshit because he got robbed, because Devin Haney, they wanted him, there's a lot of corruption in boxing, and that was one of the biggest examples that I've ever seen, where a guy was given a decision. God bless. That jumping around the way that he does is insane. They call him the Matrix, is his nickname.
He does is he'll stand in front of someone, he'll hit him, and then he does this step to the side, hits him here, and then spins him around and hits him at a different angle. It's all his footwork. His footwork is spectacular.
This is a stat that I love to quote to people about Lomachenko. Vasiliy, his amateur record. Let's hear some guesses. What you think Vasiliy Lomachenko's amateur record is? I'll even give you the first part. How about this? He lost one time in his amateur career. Okay? So, other than that one loss, which he also avenged, as I'm sitting here looking at it, I see. So he lost once. The time that he lost, or the guy that he lost to the one time, he also went back and beat and avenged. So, not that he didn't lose the one time, but defeated the only guy who did actually beat him. How many wins do you think that he had? 50? Higher. 100? Higher. What about 150? Higher. What about 200? Not even close. Let's just go ahead and jump it up to 300. Higher. 350? Maybe? Higher. 396-1 is his record. 396-1. Lomachenko needs a lot more credit than he gets. Let's just put it that way. Another person that it's not really a person, but a version of a person that not a lot of people know about or remember, especially people that, aren't huge boxing fans, is Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather. We're about to talk about Floyd Money Mayweather. Oh, are we going to talk about Floyd Money Mayweather? That's basically the entire motivation behind everything that we're going to talk about today, is because Floyd Mayweather, I don't know if he needs the money, whatever. He loves the money. Whatever your perspective is on his financial status, obviously none of us know. But Floyd Mayweather, at a certain point in his career, became prize fighter first, defensive mastermind first, and he is historically great, Pacquiao being a great example, which we'll talk about, at picking the right opponent at the right time. Some would call it cherry picking. Some would say that it's smart, considering especially the fact that he ended up never losing. But he did kind of end up creating this culture that we have now, where guys are so terrified of losing. See a Devin Haney, see a Tyson Fury for a long time, see most guys, a lot of guys, honestly. It's gotten a lot better over the last few years, the last couple years in particular, because the ring is forcing guys to fight each other. Turkey Al-Sheikh, who we're also going to talk about today. But I say all this to say that Floyd kind of created that culture because of what he kind of evolved into as his boxing career went on. But Floyd's foundation as a boxer, and literally his first nickname, was Pretty Boy Floyd. And Pretty Boy Floyd did things a little bit differently than Floyd Money Mayweather.
Nice left back street throw Mayweather. The other two champions are
By the way, that little pull, that little lean forward, waiting for you to throw a jab out or anything, and then the pull back into the straight is so beautiful. I practice it all the time. I love that move. His specific pull counter.
32-0, and then we have Takanori Hatakeyama, Japanese undefeated WBC welterweight championship of the world, Hospital against Robocop at first. Floyd Mayweather tries to finish off Justin Juco here in Las Vegas, and Juco gets tagged with a nice right.
So a lot of people know Floyd for his Philly shell, for example, and again, fighting very defensively and not really walking people down. Obviously, he's not doing that here at all. And you can tell by his face that he's a lot younger as well, but he is walking him down with shots. Much different than he boxes later on.
Two big rights there, and Juco gets knocked back down. Goes Juco. For the first time in this fight, Floyd Mayweather Jr. is dancing in the corner. He's had a long night. He's thinking it over, and he's thought he's had enough. Floyd Mayweather Jr.
I mean, obviously the push there at the end, that's a little bit questionable. I mean, he's probably going to go down anyway. But regardless, the point being is that that's a younger Floyd Mayweather who had a little bit of a different fighting style. Another view of a younger Floyd Mayweather as we move into our big stories today that I wanted to show you is from one of his only losses ever. Or in fact, let me look this up. I think it's his only loss ever. Oh, he's 84-6 actually in his amateur record. Well, and down here it says, fucking AI, dude. Anyways, Floyd Mayweather had an amateur career of 84 wins and 8 losses. Again, keep in mind what I said about Lomachenko a minute ago. 396-1 doesn't even make any sense. If I did that, if I put the Undisputed, the video game, on like the lowest difficulty and did 397 matches just out of pure boredom and trying to make it interesting, I would probably end up getting caught and doing something stupid and losing more than that. This man did that in real life. But anyway, Floyd, 84-6, obviously the 50-0 professional record. But one of his losses, and the most famous one by far, is whenever he was robbed himself by the Olympic judges, where we're not going to go through the fight today, but it's widely agreed upon that he actually won the fight and he ended up with a bronze medal or a silver medal, I believe. God damn it, I'm going to look that up too. I know it's a bronze, but I'm going to do it anyway. Yeah, so he won a bronze medal. Yeah, so I'd say trust yourself, silly. So yeah, this is Floyd after that loss, and as this is aptly titled, damn, if I knew that clip of Floyd was in there, I wouldn't know how to say that. Hasn't lost since. At the 1996, and this, and as this says at the top, the loss that changed Floyd Mayweather, I think that's probably correct. And, he did go pro after this and he never lost again. So, hasn't lost since. At the 1996 Atlanta Olympics, 19-year-old Floyd Mayweather Jr. reached the featherweight boxing semifinals and faced Bulgaria's Serafim Todorov. Many observers believe Mayweather had outboxed Todorov, and the referee even initially raised Mayweather's hand, but the judges awarded a controversial 10-9 decision to Todorov. The U.S. team protested the scoring, alleging intimidation of judges by officials, but the protest was rejected. As a result, Mayweather took home a bronze medal, and this controversial defeat became his last loss before his undefeated professional career began.
Floyd, it's a tough decision from my vantage point. Let me get your comment on the scoring.
I thought I won the fight.
Now, when you look at Todorov, a 3-time world champion, do you feel like he got some consideration from the judges? I understand how emotional you are right now, Floyd, with your family.
Yeah, that is rough. Just a kid, too. Just a kid. Here's a little bit of prime Floyd shit talk while we're here. And we're going to kind of just progressively move into some good context as we move into the Manny Pacquiao fight, which was announced the other day. Oops, wrong one. Floyd Mayweather will face Greek kickboxer and martial artist Mike Zambidis in an exhibition bout in June in Athens, Greece. Mayweather's already set to rematch Manny Pacquiao. And he also is, while we're here and we're talking about it, where the hell? This is the schedule that he has this year in 2026. So we're given the context to lead up to the fact that this is real, but it is real. Floyd Mayweather is fighting Mike Tyson in an exhibition in April, which is just unbelievable, to be honest. I mean, what did I even just say? Just broke my fucking table. Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather have an exhibition on April 25th. And what's crazy is I will be watching it. I wouldn't even call that a sparring session. I really wouldn't. The Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight is real boxing compared to the WWE when it comes to this. Like, this being the WWE. Like, the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight might as well have been like the Jake Paul Anthony Joshua fight as far as how real it was. Like, it was, I I don't even know. It's truly difficult to put this into words. Like, my point being is that this, if you thought that the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight was pointless and a glorified sparring session / a tap around, this is going to be so much worse. So much worse. Could you imagine that fucking Floyd comes out there and just fucking puts beats the fuck out of Mike Tyson. Everybody thought it would be Jake that does it, and it's fucking Floyd Mayweather. Unbelievable. In the Congo. That's crazy. Mike Tyson versus Floyd Mayweather. Exhibition set to happen April 25th in the Congo. That's unbelievable. As far as what's the word that I'm looking for? Spectacles go. We have an absolute insane lineup for you today. I mean, starting with this, because it's just crazy. I mean, Mike Tyson versus Floyd Mayweather in the Congo. Then you got Floyd Mayweather against Manny Pacquiao in September. You got he's fighting this dude in Greece. If I had to guess, this dude is there you go, 180 fights, 158 wins, 87 knockouts. The Zambidis club. He's probably, I guess he's massive over there. I know nothing about that man. This one obviously being the most interesting because it's a real fight. It sound like I got beat the fuck up. This is a real fight. This is to risk his 50-0 record. And the thing about Manny Pacquiao is he fought Mario Barrios, who we're about to talk about, most recently. So Manny Pacquiao fought a world champion in his last fight and has been relatively active. In fact, let's look this up. Manny, let's see. Let's go to his box rec. Really? I gotta sign up to look at box rec. There we go. The fuck? Okay, so we got Floyd Mayweather 50-0 at the Sphere is his next fight. Mario Barrios in July 25, September 26. Okay, so that's the year. So yeah, in July of 2025, he fought Mario Barrios for the WBC World Welterweight Championship. Mario Barrios being and by the way, he lost a majority draw. Another thing about boxing that I don't understand, and any casual fan will tell you, will turn them off from the sport quicker than anything. And I would say it probably turns off the majority of the boxing crowd, regardless of how long you've been in the sport or how deep you are in the sport. A majority draw that allows a champion to keep a belt. What the fuck is even a majority draw? I know that there's a legitimate answer to that, but like, who cares? Who won the fight? Draws are bad enough. What the fuck is a majority draw? Go away. I've had 4 Papos come up since I got in here. He also fought in 2021. He also fought, these are all professional fights, that's 5. He also fought in 2021. I'm gonna try to get through this as quick as possible before another one comes up. In 2019, twice, 2018, 2017, 2016, 2015 when he fought Floyd. But he's been very active in professional boxing since Floyd last fought. And so that one is very, very interesting. The kind of tangents that I take, I literally started where I went on this grid from this, which I never showed you. So to work our way back to Floyd and Manny Pacquiao 2, let's look at, so while we're here just for shits and giggles, Floyd Mayweather, also known for being a great shit talker, which was why him and Conor was notoriously entertaining as well. Although Conor, I will say, did get the best of him quite a bit in those press conferences.
Don't remember. You can refresh my memory, but I don't remember. You said that I think you're a great fighter and I want to be just like you when I get up in the ranks. Shay, I barely know who the fuck you are. The fuck you mean I want to be like you? How I want to be like you? Come on, man. Don't remember. You can refresh my memory, but I don't remember. You said that I think you're a great fighter and I want to be just like you when I get up in the ranks. Shay, I barely know who the fuck you are. The fuck you mean I want to be like you? How I want to be like you? Come on, man.
In his prime, Floyd Mayweather Jr. was an undefeated 5-division world champion known for his elite defense, ring IQ, and precision counterpunching during his pretty boy phase. At super featherweight and lightweight, he combined both speed and power, highlighted by his dominant 2001 stoppage of Diego Corrales, where he scored 5 knockdowns. As he moved up in weight, he evolved into a master tactician, using his shoulder roll and pinpoint timing to neutralize elite opponents like Oscar De La Hoya and Manny Pacquiao. He retired with a perfect 50-0 record, while regarded as one of the best, most defensively skilled fighters in boxing history. It's hard to do apples and oranges, but for my money, I would take Floyd as the best boxer ever in his prime. I'm just gonna throw that out there as well. Obviously, Muhammad Ali would beat the fuck out of Floyd Mayweather just on a size level alone, but I'm just saying who I believe the best boxer ever is. I would say that it's Floyd Mayweather personally. Here's him from a long time ago. This is how long this man's been doing this on Sports Center teaching the Philly show.
How does this work now? Why does this work for you?
Because
classic Mayweather style.
Open your hand. If a guy shoot a jab, I could pick his jab.
Right.
If a guy shoot a jab, I could pick his jab. And if he come around the hook, I catch the hook right here. Pick his jab right here. Catch the hook right here. If he shoot the right hand, I do like this. Then I roll back and come.
Right.
So it's more like I can roll my shoulder and come here. I can roll my shoulder and come here. Or I can roll my shoulder and come there. And I can pick his shots like this. Either way, or I can slide under.
All right.
And so
it seems like your face would be vulnerable, but it's not.
It's not.
So clearly it's working for you. I mean, this is the one stance that we see, and yet you did more than this against Corley. You went one time, actually a couple of times, where you were straight up, and I said, wait a second, he's got his jab up in the air. Why was that?
Because that's showing my versatility as a fighter. Show my, you got to change styles. You can't.
Well, why would you do that? To get your jab off faster?
No, because you don't want to be you don't want to be just one dimensional. Sometimes I may squat low just to touch a guy in the stomach.
Right.
But then I may feint him and come up with the hook. And sometimes I may just pick a guy, lay back and relax. We call it in a pocket. So we lay in a pocket sometimes, take our time, relax. And it's called the game plan. Stick to the game plan. My Uncle Roger set up a game plan. And the only thing he say is be comfortable and show your versatility. That's what I try to do.
Yeah, so that Philly shell is defensively minded first, but it turns into a lot of offense because of the counterpunching that he's able to do off of those pulls that we looked at earlier. That's more with his hands down generally, but the countering. A lot of times, I remember seeing this sports science episode before the McGregor-Mayweather fight. I'm almost positive it definitely was. But they basically timed his. I think it was his. I'm almost positive that he was his pull counter. His counterpunching speed was that of a cobra strike, measured on an episode of Sports Science.
And Money may be the best in the world at defense. One of his signature techniques is called a pull counter. To execute this move, Mayweather first baits his opponent with a shoulder roll, which reduces his target size by roughly half in just a split second. And because he keeps his rear elbow tucked in, he's able to efficiently spring a counter with 10.5 G's of acceleration. That's quicker than the strike of a viper.
So when you have speed like that, you can counter off of that, regardless of the fact that your front hand is down. Also, that front hand protects your body from body shots. It's really, really hard to get to in there. If anything, the offense is really the only thing that you could say is a downside to it. But the other thing about having your hand right there, which, and depends on how you hold it. You could have like a half Philly shell with that left arm looser, or it could be really, really tucked in there, which, some may say is not a Philly shell once you bring that arm out. But the point being is that arm being lower, it kind of comes out of nowhere. Right, you're looking up here, you're so focused on the top part and the shoulder and how to get into the face and how to break that defense that, a lot of times that hook or the jab comes up from underneath and can catch them by surprise as well, too. So when they fight, Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, when they fight for the second time, which will be streamed on Netflix, by the way, every single comment says Floyd is broke. How many more times is he going to go broke? That's funny. Manny beat Barrios, like I said. Anyways, first ever boxing match at the Sphere Vegas. I did not know that. That's absolutely not what it's going to look like, though. That's funny. 50-0 against 62-8. I want Floyd to live with the one loss on his professional record and always remember who gave it to him. 2015 was their first fight, so over 10 years ago. Floyd or Pacquiao, a lot of people said running out of money, and we all thought the first fight happened too late. For real though, that's actually true. When they finally did fight the first time, a lot of people said again that Floyd cherry picked that and waited too long. And afterwards, it came out that Pacquiao's shoulder was hurt. I believe he tore his labrum or something before that as well. So I speak for all of us when I say Jake Paul versus Floyd Mayweather is the biggest fight in boxing history. You know what's funny is whatever. I think that could work. Kind of surprised given everything. With everything that got announced, I'm surprised that Jake versus Floyd wasn't one of them. But he's not that crazy, I don't think. I mean, am I crazy for saying that? I don't know. By the way, I don't know if I've made it this far in a video before without specifically saying this, but please consider subscribing to the channel if you would, especially if you're a return viewer. What do you think about Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao 2? Who do you got? And how do you got it? Pacquiao, I'm sure, is more than motivated to make up for the time that he was essentially picked at his worst, and then still arguably won the fight by some people's measurements, as we see in the comments here. So it's gonna be real. Floyd, I mean, it's weird. I mean, I don't even know. 49 and 47 years old. It's just kind of just crazy to think about because, I mean, he's 50-0 and he's done such precise work to maintain that record. I mean, even the Conor fight was very calculated in the way that it was a professional bout to get him to that 50-0, which also broke a tie that he had with Rocky Marciano, I believe, who was 49-0. So he's very, very calculated in everything he does. But then out of nowhere, he's going to fight Manny Pacquiao, who's been a lot more active than he has. Was already kind of a stylistic problem for him back in the day. So I don't know. Is the money that needed? Risking that undefeated legacy at age 49 for millions is wild. Yeah. I mean, that's crazy to think about. It really is. Is there even enough? I mean, are they gonna scrap? I think not, right? I don't fucking know. This is Floyd, though. By the way, you ever want to just watch poetry in motion? Watch Floyd Mayweather on the mitts, which is so much more difficult than it looks from both the holder of the mitts and the boxer, obviously. But yeah, this is him, and apparently the comments think his son. Yeah, this right here. I could watch this shit all day. And he could do this till he's 90.
Slide and drop. Punch it, wait till help me go. Drop. Walk it. Pitch it. Six. Punch it. Pitch it. Watch it. I stand back like I have my distance. That's why I step. See, I have my distance. Fighters don't know their distance. You gotta know your distance. Pitch it.
Swear to God, I can watch this shit 1,000 times. I mean, like, it's Mitch. Again, he could do this when he's 90 and make it look smooth, but like, golly, brother. Do you know how hard it is to keep that going for that long? Like, I can already hear the comments right now. Buddy's impressed by mitt work. Yeah, I am. Let me see your video fucking doing it. It's difficult. It is difficult. Even if you're good, even if you're in shape, it's difficult to do in a flow for that long with that many different movements. And again, the holder of the mitts has to have a lot of flow to them as well too, and has to have the ability to read the boxer and be able to react in real time to what they're wanting, or, you know, change the combinations and move around. And, you know, it's both of them that makes it so beautiful to watch. Yeah, that middle one I could watch like 1,000,000 times over and over again. But so yeah, Floyd Mayweather. We just covered Floyd Mayweather back in professional boxing. I can't believe that we just talked about that. Let's move forward to Ryan Garcia winning his first belt against Mario Barrios. Let's watch some of the, here's your 147 title holders. Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Lewis Crocker, and Rolly Romero. Rolly Romero by far getting the short end of the stick in this situation. I mean, Ryan lost to him and then got a title shot. So I think that, I mean, probably the right thing to do would be for Ryan to fight Rolly, but I don't know if, and I think that he will eventually regardless, but I don't know if he wants to do that right now. But I would be screaming from the rooftops if I was Rolly for that. Obviously what Ryan wants back is Devin, as he should, because I think that, you know, I'm not going to get into the PED thing and and the validity of that or lack thereof with the people that were involved with that that situation, including Devin Haney and his father and Victor Conti, who he's very close with, his dad being, is very close to Victor Conti, who ran the organization which popped Ryan Garcia, a voluntary, I should add, drug testing organization that he did not have to test with, did not have to submit a test through, was popped by a friend of his daddy, afterwards. But regardless, let's run it back. That's what the people want. Give the people what they want. Let's look at the clips from a little ringside POV. That's a really good right hand to be able to take him down whenever he has his guard up like that. Let me just mute this. My Lord. Again, a lot of people considered Barrios to be one of the, if not the weakest holders of a belt at this division. In this division, I should say. It was smart. Speaking of smart selections of opponents, it was smart by Ryan to find himself here and to take this opportunity. And now he finds himself as a world title holder. However he got here, I think that he is on that level. The Rolly fight, I think, was just a really, really weird one. I really don't think that was what is the word that I'm looking for? I don't think that is a great show of what Ryan Garcia is capable of, even on half of his best day. I'm not really sure what happened with that Rolly fight. You had a lot of weird stuff with that card in general, as far as inactivity and bad fights that happened, including Devin Haney setting the record for least punches thrown in a title fight for that many rounds and etc. It was historically inactive is the point, not just the Ryan and Rolly fight, although he did get caught with a left hook, which he has gotten caught with several times. And his defense is still suspect in a lot of areas. His power, it really what bothers me the most about the way that he boxes is his footwork. He just doesn't really move his feet a lot, but he is so fast, and he actually talks about that in an interview. He's so fast that he doesn't feel that it matters as much, and he felt like he was actually moving around too much. So he's really bought into the idea that he doesn't really need to move given the speed that he has. This is a crazy breakdown right here, and in a lot of cases he's right about that, but I'm not sure. It'll be interesting to see how that works moving forward. He's just very heavy with his feet. That's pretty cool though. This is reminiscent of some behind the scenes of like the Conor knockout of Aldo and the O'Malley knockout of Aljamain Sterling that looked pretty similar when both of them also practiced those exact shots, stepping back in the locker room. This one being an overhand right as he steps forward, which again was powerful enough to knock him down even with the guard up. Why didn't he do this against Rolly? I mean, he had a bad performance. I think he should run that back, and I think Rolly earned that as well to have that fight ran back. But Ryan ultimately wins 12 out of 12 rounds, essentially. Dominated the fight, although again against a inferior opponent, perhaps, but he did what he was supposed to do. It's like in football, we say you should dominate the teams that you're supposed to dominate and be competitive with everybody else. He wasn't super competitive with Rolly. I thought he did okay against Tank. Tank fans love to talk about the fact that he beat him, but he looked like a ghost whenever he fought him. I'm not going to go through that today. And at the moment, Tank is irrelevant because he's going to be boxing people in prison. Let's see. This is pretty interesting as well. How never forget Haney got absolutely schooled button. 1,500 people liked it. So let's see. We got 3, 4, 5. Ryan getting set up, very plotty with his feet. Like I said, he's just very stiff. But his counterpunching is pretty decent, and obviously the speed in general helps with that. He also does that a lot with his lead hand fencing, and it's a big right hand that landed right before that, and then a great one to the body as well. I mean, that was 3 great right hands, 2 to the head and 1 to the body in those first 23 seconds. But yeah, he uses his lead hand a lot to push out and get people away from him, and he kind of circles out, or he'll just put it out to basically get distance, And like with Luke Campbell, when he did that, he goes here, and you kind of almost naturally go like that, and you kind of lean away whenever he's doing that. And so if you can jump forward, and come over that backhand as he's kind of like leaning away, then he can get caught with that. That's what he got caught with against Luke Campbell. That's what he got caught with against Rolling as well. I've never really seen anybody use that front hand that often as a defense in that way. So I do think that he probably needs to fix that. But, I kind of feel like his attitude at this point, which again, I don't know is if this is the wrong one to have or not. I think it can work against a lot of guys. I think that his attitude at this point is, I'm so fast and offensively powerful that I'm going to lean, and not only lean on that, double down, triple down, quadruple down on that. I'm not going to try to develop a Philly shell. He tried to use a Philly shell famously in one of his fights. It was ugly and not good. And in this fight, he actually at one point turned his entire back to Barrios, which you're not even allowed to do, and he got away with. So he has got to fix some of that stuff. But his offense is like 100 out of 100. you know, or damn near. I mean, it's just incredible. And so it really does hide and make up for a lot of the defensive flaws. And I think that's just, I think he's just leaning into that at this point. I think he's just like, I'm just going to blitz you with offense. The best defense is good offense. I think is probably what he lives by at this point. So yeah, Ryan becomes, I'm really happy to see this as well, though, I will say, because one of the first boxers as an adult, whenever I started getting into boxing, post the Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor fight, was one of the first boxers that I became a fan of, if I can put together proper sentences, was Ryan Garcia. Way back in the day, he actually went on Logan Paul's podcast back when I didn't vomit every time that I saw Logan Paul's face. And I've mentioned this before, Logan and Jake Paul getting into boxing was part of the reason why I personally got into it in my own life, because I thought if these fucking assholes can do it, that I can do it. But Ryan was in those spheres and came on one of those early episodes, and I started paying attention to him, and I've been following him ever since, and he's obviously had a lot of ups and downs, and I'm really glad to see that he's in a better place, and that we've moved on from the posting of fake kidnappings or whatever the hell that was that we just never really got an explanation for. Speaking of Logan Paul and Ryan Garcia, they're still not cool from that whole series of events before the Devin Haney fight. He's being sued by Prime still to this day over the live stream that he did talking about Prime being demonic or whatever the hell he said. So he's had a lot of ups and downs, a lot, and I'm really glad to see that he's in a good place mentally and physically, clearly, and being able to bring it all together to become a champion, and we'll see what he's able to do with that belt. I think that he's definitely could win a couple of the other ones. I mean, he could go straight for that Lewis Crocker fella that we mentioned before, but he also mentioned Shakur Stevenson.
Right there, Shakur Stevenson. Let's go. Let's run that shit. Hey, I want to be a great champion, and I'm not scared of shit. I fought Devin Haney. I'll fight Shakur Stevenson. I'll fight anybody. Let's fucking go. You know who I...
And I do love that about Ryan as well. I mean, he did lose a Rolly fight, but he fights Luke Campbell at a pretty early stage in his career. He fights Rolly. He fought Tank, weight drained, and now he's fought Barrios, obviously, and he's calling out Shakur. So, I mean, he's done a pretty good job overall. And I will say, like, T.O., Haney, Shakur now, Ryan Garcia, Tank, these guys have done a little bit of a better job than maybe people give them credit for, because whenever they weren't fighting each other, we definitely were hearing about that. So we just need to do a little bit of confirmation. Let's get this one again. Let's get this one again for sure. My bad, Lewis. I'm sure you're a good dude. But definitely want these and see where Ryan Garcia really is at. Here are his first words post becoming a champion.
Yeah, a world champion. This is something I've been dreaming of since I was 7 years old. This is the most richest history of bout you could get. 147 welterweight champion, WBC champion of the world. That's legendary. Oscar held that belt. Floyd's held that belt. Everybody's held that belt. And now Ryan Garcia is holding that belt. Honestly, this feels like a dream come true. And I couldn't be more happy and blessed right now. I mean, I was just calm. I was working on my right hand pretty much the whole camp. And I really didn't even throw left hooks.
One thing that we haven't said once is the left hook. The left hook. Haven't even said it. Haven't even mentioned it. Fight reasons or otherwise.
Kind of was focused because I knew they were going to be preparing for the left hook. All Ryan Garcia has left hook. So, it was kind of common sense just to keep firing that right hand. When I dropped him, I said, man, am I going to really get him out of here in the first round? That's pretty crazy. But I knew he was the champion, and he was going to just let it go that easy. So just stayed focused and went back to the jab.
So, yeah, and over here you may have noticed while he was talking, a familiar person commenting there, motherfuckers that have never done anything in their life hating on a kid becoming a world champion boxer get a life because of comments like this. Beating Barrios is not legendary, bruh. Paper champion. Barrios hadn't won a fight in 2 years. Nobody give a fuck about this shit. Yeah, they do. He's a world champion. Like, it's just, haters, brother. People talk about haters. Sometimes it's like, my haters are my motivators from, like, really cringe people. It's like, no, those are just people that are just telling the truth. But there are real haters out there. And when you're commenting that it's not legendary, for example, right here, first of all, you're just being disingenuous. I mean, what his point is that the WBC welterweight belt is a historic, prestigious belt, and he himself now holds it and is in that history book forever, and it's a moment that he's worked towards his entire life. He's a world champion. We talked about this at the very beginning of the damn episode. He's a world champion. Yes, there are a lot of problems with the promotions. There are way too many belts. It is way watered down. All those things are correct. But let's just, for a second, let's zoom out here, okay? Use a little bit of reason, and let's think, is it a big deal that the kid accomplished his dreams and he's a world champion of the ranked most difficult sport that exists, yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Especially considering there's a handful of people in the entire world, no matter what you think of them, who can say that that is the case now or ever. Landed a career high 82 jabs, which is great. Landed 103 power shots with the right hand. So really, really impressed with Ryan Garcia. The Shakur Stevenson fight, by the way, I'm not sure how that goes for him. We weren't able to, but we're thinking about at one point over the last couple of weeks covering the Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson fight, because that was just shocking, almost scary. I like Teofimo Lopez a lot as a boxer. Speaking of guys who fights, you know, anybody and is very good about that, I like Teofimo a lot, but God bless, it was. I felt bad for him from the standpoint that the way that fight went down. I mean, there was the awkward shit with his dad, asking him where his power went in the corner. I mean, when you're getting embarrassed to that level publicly, it's just kind of hard to watch. And that's what Shakur Stevenson did to Teofimo Lopez, and I'm not really sure how that would go for Ryan Garcia, to be honest. But again, I respect the hell out of the fact that he would like to do that. I'm not sure if maybe we stay at 147, take the other belts, maybe give me a Haney, maybe give me a Rolly first, maybe Shakur's the final boss, perhaps. You got to respect it. I had this pulled up earlier, judge scorecard. Let's see, is there anything interesting in here that we wanted? I mean, it's pretty interesting, this breakdown. What in the fuck? Wow, what is this round? Whew. Okay, another dad. Another dad in the boxing scene is Ryan's dad, who I believe was his only coach in this fight. This is what he had to say after the fight.
I go back to the haters, because I gotta let this off my chest, because I won't be able to sleep. But Chris Algieri, you're a piece of shit. Okay, I'm sorry. You and your corny ass partner. Okay, not believing in my son. Sergio Mora, I ran into him and he said, no, your son made me a believer, so I'm not going to go too hard on him. Okay? Robert Garcia, weird, man. Oh, my son can't go over 6 rounds? Sorry, dude. Okay? I know you're okay, but you don't know my son. So, you know what? Screw all you haters. I'm sorry, but it gives me satisfaction to say that my son is the WBC welterweight champion of the world.
And he should be hype about that. He should say that. That should be his attitude. The difference between him currently, at least, and Teofimo's dad is that the result, ultimately. Teofimo's dad doesn't sound like he knows what the hell he's talking about or doing at all, and he's putting his son at risk. Ryan had a lot of mental health battles that were very widely covered, and so I think that it's important to show some of the stuff that, the afterwards, you know, the positive side to it, because I know it was really cool and fun to post about and make videos about him having an actual meltdown in front of the entire world. And this not so much, but I do think that it's important to show the other side of that. So this is his open up about his mental health journey on the shop.
Sometimes you go through things. It's just like a broken arm. You just don't see it. You know, you just gotta let it heal, and then all of a sudden you come back. Because, you know, a lot of people don't address it, and then they act out and they make mistakes. Because you don't want to settle down and just self-reflect. I say it's like taking 2 steps back to go 5 steps forward. Because if I keep pushing it, what's going to happen to me? And at the point, I was at the top. I mean, I was hot at the moment. I just knocked out Luke Campbell. I was on top of the world. I was feeling good. I was getting paid. Everything was great. You know, social media was popping. Everything was going great. I was on top. I just, like, it was something that I couldn't catch a hold of. I was like, what is this? Like, and I would fight it, and I would just go on my runs. I would train. All of a sudden, I'll be, can't breathe. You know, my heart's beating out my chest. I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? And then it just blew up, and then I just became, you know, kind of self-sabotaged in my own brain. Sometimes you go through things. It's just like a broken arm.
Good for him. Good for him for talking about that. I'm going to let this part play again because I think this is really important. It's just like a broken arm.
You just don't see it. You know, you just got to let it heal, and then all of a sudden you come back. Because, you know, a lot of people don't address it, and then they act out and they make mistakes.
100% true. 100% true. Mental health and anxiety and those kind of things can be a really difficult thing to deal with, you know, for a variety of reasons and in a variety of ways. But one of them that is the most difficult is the fact that, you know, there's no scratches on your face. There's no cuts. There's no bruises. There's nothing broken. Something that you can see on the outside necessarily, other than, you know, some of the results that it produces and some of the energy and, you know, the body language perhaps. But in a lot of cases, unless you're trained to know what it looks like, unless you have been around it, it can go right around the discernment of those around you. And even when things are visibly wrong, like, okay, this person is obviously acting out, what the hell is going on? They're being crazy. It's not like there's a tag over their head or a diagnosis that is tangible enough that makes you understand what's going on despite their behavior, because they look fine and they got it all. And it can be a very, very lonely and difficult thing because it's very, very difficult to explain. And if you're on the outside looking in, to be fair to those people, it's very, very difficult to understand. I literally know people that, and I'm not sure how much I believe this, it may be ignorance on their part as far as truly just not understanding what they're feeling, but I've had many people tell me that they truly just don't even understand what anxiety is. They've never experienced it. Or if they do at a later point in life, they'll comment that that was the first time they ever experienced it. And, you know, and even myself, I can point back to a very particular moment right before college, you know, where that seemed to be a switch that was flipped on for me, anxiety being, that never really flipped off. And so it's kind of crazy in that way, amongst other reasons that it's crazy. But what you love to see is, instead of the fake beer drinking and things like that, you know, the gospel music aside, you know, the fact is that the man looks healthy. Physically, mentally, he looks calm, and obviously the performance that he put on goes to show that. This moment between Ryan and his dad is pretty cool.
Not just to win this title, but to win it with your dad in your corner.
It's like it was written on a story. You know what I mean? It was something. It's something that I wouldn't want it any other way. You know, there's a special relationship with your father, man. If you got your dad telling you love him, you know, and I love you, Dad.
I love you too.
Thank you for everything.
I love you, of course, Ryan.
I love you all my heart.
I love you, Mil. I love you.
Yeah, my dad's definitely my hero as well. So that's pretty awesome. This is the clip that I wanted to show you. This is from after the Devin Haney fight. So you could argue that in some ways things got worse for him right after this, but I think that the message that he sent was very important in the grand scheme of things when it comes to the mental health stuff that we're talking about, and maybe thinking twice before you just automatically jump on somebody and don't even think about what they may be going through or their perspective.
Love God and try to help the children, and you got straight hate on me. You guys do not love the truth. The truth is in front of you. I put my fucking reputation on the line for all the kids in the world, and everybody's fucking staying quiet, but me.
They blackmail each other so they can have a union where they won't snitch on each other. Think about that. They do horrible things together so they don't snitch against each other, and they're rich so they hold each other accountable. If you say something, I'm gonna say something, and everything comes down. Think about it. And I'm starting my foundation, Save the Children. Also release the truth. Non-profit. I don't want anything.
That last part was a bit weird, but he did. But what the fuck, dude? These comment sections for stuff. I don't know how we got on into this rabbit hole, and I'm going to pull us out here in just about 2 seconds because this shit is insane. He has the 1-9 satanic symbol tattooed on his hand. Sorry, people, he's one of them. I can't wait to do our first episode of Curiosities, by the way. So be on the lookout for that. But this world, brother, is insane. Yes, he spoke out and was labeled, slandered, laughed at, and eventually disappeared off social media. Where is he now? Who wants to tell them? Wow, that was a questionable decision to click on that post. Okay, let's go ahead and move into our last subject. Eddie Hearn and Dana White. Also, real quick, Oleksander Usyk. I promised Oleksander Usyk news. Title fight at the Pyramids. Literally at the Pyramids of Giza. Oleksander Usyk will fight kickboxing legend Rico Verhoeven, who is indeed a legend for sure. I don't know. It's a weird fight. I'm not really sure why he's doing it. I mean, Buddy is just doing side quests at this point. Why not? There's no real contenders left for Usyk anyway. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's basically Jake Paul is a harder fight for this guy. He's a kickboxer. White House this, Pyramids that. These martial arts venues starting to look like Tekken backgrounds. Oh, that's a fucking pull. Tekken? That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, needless to say, Oleksander Usyk wins by whatever he wants. But again, an absolute spectacle of a fight. I mean, you have to say that for sure. We've had Times Square. We've had the Pyramids of Giza. We're getting the White House card soon. First UFC episode of the Coliseum coming out very, very soon. I think Dana White's announcing that this week, and if he ends up doing that, today's Thursday, so he's got to do it soon. If he ends up doing that this week, regardless, it'll be soon, and we will be covering that. That'll be our first UFC video. Let's go ahead and bring you down to Dana White's Zuffa Boxing. Zuffa Boxing is a long time coming for Dana White. He actually tried it once already, and it failed. This partnership with Turki Al-Sheikh has been absolutely incredible. Turki Al-Sheikh as a boxing promoter is an absolute dog and a half, a menace, an absolute giant among giants. I mean, he has done basically every big fight. Canelo Crawford, that Times Square card that we were talking about, the Usyk cards, the Tyson Fury versus Usyk, and Anthony Joshua. I mean, he's like, I don't know. I mean, I literally, any big event that you can think of that's happened for years at this point has been because of Turki Al-Sheikh bringing back The Ring. The Ring magazine, the tangible magazine being back is because of him. The Ring magazine used to be a huge thing, and they're such a big organization, such an important organization that the Ring magazine has a belt. The Ring magazine belt is literally its thing, and so its own thing. So he partnered with Dana to create Zuffa Boxing, Dana White's second attempt at doing boxing, which is essentially what they're going to try to do is make it a league similar to the UFC. The UFC story was that they essentially compiled all of these martial arts, right? Which martial art is the best. But when it first started, there was like no rules. People were going out there in fucking sumo outfits and one glove and no glove on the other hand. And like, it was an absolute shit show. And it was, what's the word that I'm looking for? It was a circus. It was not taken seriously. And his job and what he accomplished, along with other people as well, obviously Lorenzo Fertitta, the Fertitta brothers, fighters like Conor McGregor over the years. I mean, the story of the UFC is obviously a big one, but he essentially uniformed mixed martial arts. Leaguified, that's not a word, but he basically brought it under one umbrella where you have one set of divisions that are recognized, I should say, and belts that are recognized. You know, one organization that can put fights together. And the biggest difference between the UFC and boxing as a whole is what we were talking about earlier. There's way too many belts in boxing. It's way too saturated, and way too many decision makers, way too many cooks in the kitchen. The UFC is the exact opposite, which is why he has a lot of problems right now with this particular situation, because he's trying to bring the UFC model to boxing, which is antithetical to boxing in a lot of ways. If they want to put a matchup together, they put a matchup together. They don't have to deal with, you know, different promoters for the two different fighters, and all the different shit that they have to deal with in boxing. So they're basically trying to do all of that in boxing. Zuffa Boxing will only recognize their 8 divisions. The idea would be that, yes, literally WBC, WBO, IBF, The Ring magazine, all of this stuff, in their ideal world wouldn't exist. They would be the ones that have these belts, and those are the only ones that's recognized. It's kind of weird because in a way they are just another promoter when they do that. With this decision, intermediate categories such as super featherweight or super lightweight are officially eliminated, and it leaves out fighters in the lower classes who will now have to assess whether they can move up in weight to compete or if this company simply isn't for them. So they are doing their own belts. They're doing their own thing. And again, they would love for the Zuffa Boxing belt to be, you know, like the heavyweight, or like the UFC belts are. You know, the Zuffa heavyweight champion is the recognized best boxer at the heavyweight division in the world. Is what they would love. But it's hard to separate yourself from that, because a lot of that stuff is pretty similar ultimately to the other promotions. You know, how are you just not just another promotion in that way? It's a really, really tall task. But one thing that Dana White did accomplish recently, certainly, undeniably, is signing Conor Benn. Where is this motherfucker? Is signing Conor Benn, who a lot of people probably have no idea who that is unless you are in the boxing scene or are big into boxing. Conor Benn is a big name in the UK. He just had a series of fights against Chris Eubank Jr., Conor Benn's dad, Nigel Benn, and Chris Eubank Jr.'s dad, Chris Eubank, had a series of fights decades ago, and then the sons fought recently, and that really increased his profile to the point where he could take that profile and turn around and sign with Dana White and Zuffa Boxing for $15 million for one fight. I should back up real quick. Dana White and Eddie Hearn, now promotional rivals, ultimately, not big fans of each other. Let's just pick one of these and go.
Josh Warrington for the first time for the super featherweight Matchroom Boxing Championship of the world.
What?
No, I'm joking. That is the cringiest shit I've ever seen. You know I would never do that, but I was just laughing because whenever it is Jai Opetaia fighting Brandon Glanton for the Zuffa Championship of the World, do you know what? I could just do that. That'd be quite amusing. Anyone can do it. You know what you want to win when you grow up, mate, don't you? The Matchroom Boxing World Championship. Oh, do I? Do I, Eddie? Yeah. Oh, what's that? Oh, it's my new World Championship belt. This is going to be the biggest thing in boxing. If you're going to be a real champ, you got to win the MBWC. That's the Matchroom Boxing World Championship. Do you think I would disrespect boxing that much? My ego's out of control, right? That's beyond anything I could ever fathom. The history and legacy of the sport governs that. You've got to win the WBC. The WBA, you know, the belt that Muhammad Ali won, Sugar Ray Leonard, Mike Tyson won, Roberto Duran, Larry Holmes, Shakur Stevenson, Floyd Mayweather. Lee Wood against Josh Warrington for the first time for the super featherweight Matchroom Boxing Championship of the World.
What?
No, I'm joking. That is the...
So his point is that he's a promoter. He's not a sanctioning body. That's the big difference, right? The sanctioning bodies are where the belts are through. Dana is a promoter who's giving a belt out. So basically, Eddie Hearn's like, I could put my Matchroom fighters, that's his promotion, Matchroom through the zone, and I could put just those fighters. I could just have those fighters fight for a belt that I just made up called the Matchroom belt, and it would be the same thing. Is his point. The cringiest shit that I've ever seen. This was Dana White's response. Zuffa Boxing belt revealed. Turki Al-Sheikh. Again, Turki Al-Sheikh really changes the equation, although in this particular picture, he looks like a Make-A-Wish kid. But today I'm happy I met with my brothers. Today I'm not doing it. Today I'm happy I met with my brothers, Dana and Nick, in Las Vegas, and they gifted me the first Zuffa Boxing belt made with beautiful diamonds. It's a huge start for Zuffa, whatever. This picture will be looked at as historically as one of the worst moments in boxing. That's what somebody said over here. They could have at least made it as nice and shiny as the UFC title. Hell, I would have accepted the old UFC title. Dana White's perspective on all of that is a little bit different, as you can imagine. He doesn't think it's cringy at all.
There hasn't been any pushback. Okay. This is like beating up babies. I feel like I came in and I'm beating up babies. I expected more. I expected some pushback. I expected some, I don't know, them to be more game. This, they're all way out of their league. Like, absolutely, positively out of their league. I don't think anybody looks at Eddie Hearn and says, oh, this guy's a visionary, or, the guy's been in boxing forever. I look at him like most politicians. You've done nothing in the sport except stay in the lane and, play by all the rules and, ride right along with but you ended up becoming part of the problem is what happened. And I don't want to sit here and smash Eddie Hearn or anything else, but Eddie Hearn works for his dad. You know what I mean? He works for dad. And, I don't think he's come in and ever had any type of vision, whereas we do. And we're gonna change the entire sport. And I understand the people who are the status quo in boxing don't like it. But it doesn't mean they can't still do their thing. If your thing is as good as you think it is, and you are as good as you think you are, then do your thing. Good luck to you. I'm going to do my thing, and they're going to do theirs. Eddie Hearn and his dad have a lot of money. It's not like they can't compete. They can't compete because they don't know how to compete. There's no vision there. I don't know how else to explain it other than that. And listen, I'm sitting here, my third fight in. I'm either right or I'm wrong. There hasn't been any pushback.
Yeah, I could do episodes upon episodes about Dana White, including telling the story about the time that he called me personally a pussy once, which is a true story. But some of what he's saying is cool. I really like Dana. I had a lot of respect for Dana for a long time for the way that he did things. And, a lot of the pushback, probably more so even, that he got for the UFC the pushback that he got for the UFC was probably worse and more severe than trying to change boxing, because it's not that he invented mixed martial arts necessarily, but kind of in a way. And if you ask most people about MMA, they will say the UFC. It's synonymous. It's not even synonymous. It's like saying Band-Aid as like the name for the short little adhesive strip that you put on a wound. Well, Band-Aid is a brand. It's a company. And he's been able to do that with MMA and the UFC being interchangeable terms. That's the word that I'm looking for. However, this person is correct. The sweet science has been around for 280 years. You just got here. You'll quickly learn this sport has real tradition. You know, to show up out of nowhere. This isn't MMA where some money and a few investors can shake everything up. Dude beats women. Might as well compare this to beating up babies. Yeah, there's that too. So quite the beef that they have going back and forth. And so let's now switch back over to Eddie Hearn, because I've had some time to gather this stuff up since I wanted to talk about it. So we've now heard Eddie Hearn compare or talk about the Zuffa belt and how ridiculous it is. We've had Dana White say what Dana White did and go crazy on Eddie Hearn right back and talk about how Eddie Hearn's dad, which is true, is who ultimately owns Matchroom. So Eddie then responded as well.
Beating up baby.
Well, that's a sick mind for one. I don't know what the fuck he was talking about.
I expect.
That's a sick mind. He's not talking about literally. Eddie, relax. Oh, first of all, that's a fucking sick. That's not even a good accent. That's a sick mind. That's hilarious.
Expected more. This is like beating up babies. I feel like I came in and I'm beating up babies.
Quite disturbing if I'm.
I have to start this. Hold on. Please give me this from the top. No, hold on. I have to. That's too good. That is too good. Oh, god damn. No, I'm not doing it. Please just reload it. Please just reload it. Boom.
Beating up baby.
Well, that's a sick mind for one. I don't know what the fuck he was talking about.
I expected more.
I don't know what the fuck he was talking about.
Beating up babies. I feel like I came in and I'm beating up babies.
Quite disturbing, if I'm honest with you. Say that I don't have any vision.
I don't think he's come in and ever had any type of vision.
Eddie is not happy.
Zuffa's, or whatever it's called. What's their vision?
I don't think anybody looks at Eddie Hearn and says, oh, this guy's a visionary.
Getting Max Kellerman to tell everyone that Callum Walsh is the next Roy Jones on a Sunday night in front of 126 people in your garage in a ring that looks like you've just got it out of a local club show. What sort of fucking vision's that? Here's a belt and it's Zuffa. Look at the vision. Quite frankly, Zuffa shows are absolute complete dog shit. It's in front of 100 people in a garage trying to
It's in front of 100 people in a garage. Oh my god, I'm glad I added this at the end. Holy shit. I mean, we don't get to boxing a lot, so when we do, might as well go all the way in. My god.
Manipulate fight fans.
You've done nothing. But Eddie Hearn works for his dad. He works for dad.
I do work for my dad. Dana White has worked for his daddy for a long time. The Fertitta brothers. Dana White's got a new daddy.
My god almighty. Eddie Hearn is going the fuck off.
Turkey had a shake his Dana White's pappy. He's got to do whatever he's told. He's right at the bottom of the pile in terms of quality as a boxing promoter.
Beating up baby.
Well, that's a sick mind for one. I don't know what the fuck he was talking about.
I expected more. This is like beating up babies. I feel like I came in and I'm beating up babies.
Quite disturbing, if I'm honest with you. Say that I don't have any vision.
I don't think he's come in and ever had any type of vision.
Zuffa's, or whatever it's called. What's their vision?
I don't think anybody looks at Eddie Hearn and says, oh, this guy's a visionary.
Getting Max Kellerman to tell everyone that Callum Walsh is the next Roy Jones on a Sunday night in front of 126 people in your garage in a ring that looks like you've just got it out of a local club show. What sort of fucking vision's that? Here's a belt and it's Zuffa. Look at the vision. Quite frankly, Zuffa shows are absolute complete dog shit. It's in front of 100 people in a garage trying to manipulate.
My dumbass said a carriage. It's in front of 100 people in a garage. It's a garage, dude. So funny. I'm so glad that I waited and played that. Oh, Oscar on Dana's ass too.
It's been a bit.
By the way, in case you didn't pick up on that yet, I'm not a big fan of Fester myself.
Busy week with Uncle Fester running his pie hole.
No way. I swear to God, I did not watch that yet. The first thing that Oscar called it was Uncle Fester. That's hilarious.
Fester, you call people mentally ill when they don't agree with you, but guess what? We're just telling the facts.
You can't handle the truth.
I have never in my entire life seen somebody truly believe absolutely killing it while they're actually doing jack shit. I will come out and say it right now. Zuffa is officially a failed science project.
I don't even know what the that was.
Zuffa's roster is filled with fighters who are either at the tail end of their career or who just can't make it at the highest level. And if they do get some big names at Zuffa, it will only be because they were donated from Turkey. Look, they're basically hosting club shows in the basement of UFC in front of 50 people. They strip fighters of all their individuality, making them wear nasty generic shorts to blend in for the sake of the product. They make it impossible for fighters to grow their own brands. And Jesus, don't get me started on the made-up belts. They actually made
that picture. Oh, got My Little Pony on it. Stop.
Made up a belt, and they want you to believe it has generational value.
You couldn't make this stuff up.
Fester, wake the up. You're funded by daddies.
Who is your daddy, and what does he do?
Dude, you have daddies paying your bills.
They own you.
The Fertitas funded the UFC.
Okay, well, he must have watched Eddie's video. He's doing it bar for bar, but...
And now Turkey is funding Zuffa Boxing. You didn't put your own money into Zuffa because you don't truly believe in it. But you did buy into Power Slap.
I didn't know that either. That's funny. That is funny. That is funny. That is funny. That he put money in a Power Slap. Especially considering his history. Now is not the time. Let's just say it's the dumbest shit that's ever existed, and Dana White does seem more excited about that than he has for any of his UFC announcements lately, and even more so than he is for Zuffa.
Which is the most hilarious ever, and we all remember the classic promotion you did for that one.
Fight!
Dude, I was literally just thinking to ask. I was literally just thinking that if you didn't see what just happened, you might want to just run that back real quick. That was Dana White slapping his wife the week that Power Slap launched, and he still launched Power Slap anyway. I swear to God, within the same week that Power Slap launched, a few days before that, this video came out of him slapping his wife in a club. And I was thinking when I was talking about it a second ago, I should put that clip in there. I was like, I'm not going to go find that clip. Could I even find that clip anywhere anyways? Literally the next fucking thing is, wow. Oscar. Wow. This man got into the good coke that day.
Slapped your own wife in public to promote Power Slap? Some call that brilliant marketing, but...
Oh my God, some call that brilliant marketing. Stop. But most of
us just call it domestic violence.
Like this guy, woman beater?
Here's another look at it.
But most of us just call it domestic violence. Oscar, stop.
Everything you need to know about this man's character. He's a douche. He's a wife beater.
He doubled back on it and played it twice. Oh my God, this has turned into an absolute jumping of Dana White at the end of this video.
This is how I'm labeled now.
And the fact he's currently getting investigated by the FBI at his former job, and his own fighters sued the UFC and won a settlement last year for $375 million.
Live, exclusively on...
Live, Barrios versus Garcia. What? Why is that at the end? My God. I mean, I know Garcia is one of Oscar's guys, but ain't no way that was posted like that, right? That's got to be because of this. That Fight Hub has a deal with them. Because there's no way that was originally a part of that video. Just casually at the end, by the way. If you hate Dana White as much as I do, watch this. Like, what the fuck? That was nuts. That was nuts. Dana, by the way, we were talking about Conor Benn, and we were talking about Conor Benn, and we got on a whole nother side of it. But yeah. Conor Benn and Eddie Hearn's history is long and deep, and so this was a very personal shot at Eddie Hearn. Again, a one-fight, $15 million deal, numbers that UFC fighters could only pray to God for, which Eddie Hearn was understandably upset about.
When I received the email from his lawyer, I texted him and said, I think we should have a call. For everything I've done for you, I think I deserve a call. And he said, no. Very painful, a wasted few years, pretty devastated. I've had a few days to digest what might happen, so maybe this interview's different to what it would have been a couple of days ago. It's not often you get shocked, and I blame myself. I forgot it was boxing. The loyalty that we've shown would never ever put us in this position. I made a mistake because I misjudged the character, and I backed him. When he was done, out, loaned him hundreds of thousands of pounds. You know, some people loyalty really matters. Other people, maybe not so. There's a lot.
After a decade with Eddie Hearn, it's rough. I mean, if you're Conor Benn, I don't know, man. I don't know. Is $15 million enough for you to get to do that? You tell me. Let me know in the comments. I'll let God sort that one out. But literally right before I went to film this, I will add, well, there's this too. Frank Warren, who's another promoter, is suing Dana White and Turki Al-Sheikh's affiliated companies for $1 billion. He's claiming that TKO and Sella, I'm not sure who Sella is, breached exclusivity contracts and went behind his back to form Zuffa. Without him, he is seeking $1 billion in damages, a figure he claims his company would have made if the exclusivity contracts would have been honored. So he is now being sued by Frank Warren, another of the 2 or 3 gigantic heavy hitters, as this is all going down.
Yes, guys, Conor Benn here. Just finished training this morning. It's been a flat-out week.
Bet you didn't expect him to sound like that, did you? We got to get to the end of this, so I'm going to leave it at that. Eddie Hearn speaks on Zuffa again. I mean, it's just been going like crazy. But what just happened that I was going to mention a minute ago, like literally right before I started filming this, is that Eddie Hearn has now gone blow for blow and signed Tom Aspinall. Oh my God, we haven't been able to talk about this yet, but Tom Aspinall and Dana White are currently rightfully in a gigantic beef that I wish we would have covered, about the fact that Dana White basically threw Tom Aspinall under the bus. If you know, you know. I'll get into it later, but he's the heavyweight champion of the world. He iced him out for years and years for John Jones, of all people, who's a terrible individual and highly overrated. And Tom Aspinall has kind of flipped on them, again, rightfully so, based on the way that they acted in his last fight, where he got eye poked to the point that he's had to have a long list of treatments and surgeries for his eye, and he was basically called a liar and a pussy by Dana White, who is his boss, while he's the heavyweight champion of the world, and he was fouled illegally by Cyril Gane, who has a history of doing that. And for whatever reason, Dana White decided to take Cyril Gane's side, decided to very firmly plant himself against Tom Aspinall. No matter what he says, that's absolutely what he did. And Tom Aspinall and Eddie Hearn are now working together. None of what I just said is coincidental at all. That's insane that he did that as a current fighter as well. And Eddie is going blow for blow. Look at him cheesing in this picture. He couldn't wait for this to go out. Oh my God. Wow. Absolutely incredible. So, yeah, that is what we will leave today's episode. Floyd Mayweather Jr. has 3 fights this year. Ryan Garcia is a champion. Oleksander Usyk is fighting from the pyramids of Giza. And Eddie Hearn and Dana White might actually end up sending hits out on each other. I don't know.
He has a 10-year advantage over you. He's got the youth, but you are Dana White. You are the biggest animal in world sport. You know, if it actually happened, who would win?
Listen, if Eddie wants to box, we can box. We can box if Eddie wants to box. I don't think Eddie wants to box.
But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. I appreciate you guys very much for watching this video, as always, and we will be back soon to update you on these stories and a lot more, obviously. In the boxing world, in the UFC world, we're going to be doing an episode about the White House card here soon, like I said. The NFL is in free agency, which I can't wait to cover. So we have so much exciting stuff to do here on Hybrid Studios. And we're about to really become a hybrid channel, as intended, whenever we start releasing episodes of Curiosities and expanding the cinematic universe that we have here. So I'm very, very excited about that. Thank you for being here for our second boxing edition of the Coliseum, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you very much. Oh, also, Dana White said this.
I think you saw this week, I am really beating up babies. Is there a bigger pussy than Eddie Hearn?
My Lord. This is post signing Conor Benn, post all the reactions to the baby's comments. So he's reiterating at this point.
He was quite upset that Conor Benn left.
Is there a bigger pussy than Eddie Hearn? This guy's supposed to be your friend. You're fucking crying. He made more money. He's going to make more money, and he had the right to match it. He could have matched it.
I think he said he tried and Conor Benn wouldn't return his calls.
What a crock of shit. Yeah. We're literally beating up babies.
He really likes that one. Okay. Goodbye.